we all know what goes into tutorial session. Tutorial sessions are highly interactive. I ask you questions, you respond, you ask me questions, I respond. That's how it's going to be. Okay. So you can now see my screen. I'm going to share it very soon. Okay, can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay, so we're going to do tutorials on CVP, multiple product. Right. So bring forth some of the key points you gathered from reading on CVP multiple products assessment. Key points. It's a question. Key points. What were the key points that you gathered when you were reading on CVP multiple products? Hello, please, it's a question. This is a tutorial session. We have only 1 hour for the tutorial. So I need you to be highly participative so we can move forward, please. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Please, one person can talk at a time.
Sir, is it the variables, the fixed cost, and then those things?
I cannot know. I'm just asking you the key points that you gathered when you were reading on the CVP multiple products. So I cannot know what you gathered. You are telling us. So don't tell us with a question. Say, I gathered this. This is what I gathered, and so on and so forth, so that we make progress.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm listening, please. So this gives me the impression that nobody
Hello.
read anything. Yes, please. Please, your name.
Peter.
Yeah, Peter, let's hear you.
Please, in multiple products, the company sells 2 or more products to their
Okay,
customers.
so I'm writing 2 or more products are sold. Okay. Is that all you gathered? That's a key fact. That's true. What again did you gather? Okay, so this is from Peter. Someone should also talk. I have 16 students. Last week when I met you, the class size was
How to calculate break-even quantity?
hello? Yeah, Mohammed, talk. We are listening. Mohammed. Lisbeth Affle. Lizzie. Hello, Lisbeth.
Sir.
Yes, talk.
So I just joined.
Okay, so the question is, we are doing a tutorial, right? And I'm asking the whole class about what they gathered personally when they were reading on the CVP multiple product assessment. What did you gather? This is a tutorial section, so you have to do about 70% of the talking. I just lead it. So you have to talk. What did you gather?
Okay, sir, I'm coming.
Coming from where? Ebenezer Yali. Ebenezer Yali. Mr. Yali.
I'm coming. Hello there.
Is this class really prepared
Hello.
for what we have to do?
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, Ebenezer. Joseph, let's give it the chance to Ebenezer. Ebenezer Yali, we are listening
Hello.
to you. Yeah, Ebenezer.
Yes, sir. So about the cost components, what makes up the cost components is very important because of the
And
contribution. Calculation of the contribution, you
what
need
do
to
you mean
know
by that?
what.
We are trying to gather the key points when we read it on the CVP multiple product environment. Someone just said, in fact, Peter
Yes.
said, 2 or more products are sold at the same time. So it
Yes.
doesn't work like, let me actually polish
Yes.
this. What it means is that at any point in time, 2 or more products or all the products that the company sells are sold jointly. So when it is as if when a customer is coming to buy, the customer cannot, let's say we are selling phones, laptops, and let's say desktops. This kind of point that Peter made, what it means actually is that anytime someone comes into a shop to buy, it is as if he has to buy each one of those things we sell. He cannot buy only one and go. That's one of the connotations. So the products are not sold in singles, they are sold jointly together. Or it is as if we have bagged or we have boxed the products. We have some box that the products are put in. Okay, so when you come, you pick your box, and all the items we sell, they have representation in the box. So it's like we are selling them in packages. That's one connotation. 2 or more products are sold. It does not mean that, oh, you can sell one and another person comes to another person buy one. That's not what it means. It means all the products that the company sells are sold jointly, as if they have been put in a box, and when you come, you take the box home and pay for the whole box. Ebenezer, you were making your point. You have to make the point very comprehensible to the whole class. You might understand it the way you are saying it, but speak to the understanding of the whole class. So you can go ahead.
Okay, sir. So I was saying that because of See, when you are calculating the break even, the most important aspect of them is the contribution. And I'm saying that before you can get the contribution, you need to know the, especially with the variable cost, which items represent the variable cost. So I said that you need to know the cost components as a key point in solving a cost volume profit analysis question. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Oh.
Amelia, what did you gather when you were reading on CVP multiple products? Amelia.
Let's say, I'm coming. So I'll join you. I'm coming.
You are coming.
Yes, I'll join you very soon.
Joseph Okran, what did you gather when
Hello,
you were
sir.
reading on CVP multiple product? Yeah, Joseph.
Yeah, so this morning I went through it this morning because of my situation. But what I gathered was said that when you are doing multiple products with regards to CVD analysis, he said the company's sales mix is viewed as a composite unit. But I wanted to even ask of a well explanation about the composite unit, which of course you highlighted it that you'll be lecturing it as a tutorial for an hour. So now I was even on it that expression might probably be well explained when probably we get on the Zoom.
No, I will not explain it because the explanation is in the video. And if you don't watch, I don't repeat myself of what is already in your hand. So you go and watch the video.
Okay, I watched it, but I know that I know when you come out with it, it will be well explained to me. That's why I was still in mind that I will ask.
No problem. Lisbeth, you said you were coming. Lizzie? Lisbeth Afo. Lisbeth Afo. Okay, so I get the impression that class doesn't read. You're not interested in what you yourself are paying money to do. So let's go through CVP multiple product. The video is already there, and I will never lecture it.
Hello there.
I will not waste. Yes, please.
So, if I could probably come out with a composite unit a bit, because it has been my destiny. He said, can I probably explain that the composite unit, like, it's not sold to customers, but it's a concept that is used to calculate a combined contribution margins. I think something like that was also there. And
Okay, so let me talk something about it. I've even explained it if you're paying attention. I've explained it when Peter made his first point about two or more products are sold by the company. The idea about the composite unit, I already explained it. The idea is that the products are sold as a combined unit. So if we have that company where we are selling mobile phone, laptop, desktop, let's say 3 products. Composite unit means that when someone comes to buy, it is as if the person has to take all the 3 sets. So we sell them in a package. That's the meaning of the composite units. Even though it is not realistic, for example, in most companies, you can see them selling more than one product. It is not a realistic idea that when you go and let's say you want to go and buy 1 bottle of water, you also have to pick almost everything that is there. No. But that's the idea. In fact, that's the underpinning assumption when it comes to doing CVP multiple product analysis. And this might be the way you can understand the idea of composite units in common sense, or from common sense perspective. Even though the organization's products will be sold individually, you can go there and buy Baltic. Another time you can go and buy Toffee. You don't need to buy them in any fixed package. But at the end of the period, if say a month or a year, we can know the ratio between the sales of Baltic, for example, the sales of Toffee, and the sales of all other products. That ratio is what we use to speak as if the products were sold in that ratio. So for example, if for a period like a month or a year, total sales made of bottled water is say 1,000 bottles. And then toffee, let's say we sell the toffee in packs. It was also 2,000 packs. And then let's say another product was 5,000, all right, for the whole year. We can have this ratio between them. 1:2:5. All right, this one, any company can determine these figures. So it is around this that we are saying it is as if the products were sold in this fixed proportion. That is the composite units. This fixed proportion. It is as if for every 1 bottle of water, you also have to buy 2 packs of toffee and 5, let's say, loaves of bread. It is as if that when you go, you buy this and take this and take this. That is the idea of fixed sales mix. This is an official expression. Sales mix. It is as if the company's products are sold in this fixed sales mix, 1:2:5, for this particular example that I'm giving. And this is a very key assumption that if you had really read or watched the video, everybody should tell me. But nobody did the reading. And please, let me be emphatic. If you don't read, you have nobody to blame. You have yourself to blame. And if you fail, you will write the paper again. No compromise on that. And when we met for the first time, what I told you should actually make you know how I take things. So I advise that every day, do something small. The video link I gave you, every day if you watch a quarter, or not even a quarter, watch some small portion. Watch another portion small. Because I can understand that some of you, if not all of you, watched some video somewhere which was not even related to what you have paid money for. So I don't take those excuses. And please, when it is time for me to assess you, I assess you on your performance, only that. So let's be serious from day one. So this is a key assumption. Products of the company are sold in some constant sales mix. So it is always very important. In fact, that's the beginning of the whole thing, to compute the sales mix. Some questions can be friendly and give you the sales mix in its basic form like this: 1:2:5. Others may give you the total sales like I've given you: 1,000 of bottled water, 2,000 packs of toffee, 5,000 loaves of bread. And when you get this, you should be able to compute, reduce this then to the basic sales mix. Okay. So now let's see. The same concepts that we learned from the single product environment is the same concept that we are borrowing and modifying them with the assumption of constant sales mix. So that's what you have to get at the back of your mind right from the word go. It's the same concept. And if you haven't gone over them to kind of register the concept on your mind, that is your decision. I have taught you. I have given you all the resources to do well in that regard. So it's the same concept that we have learned in a single product environment, but we're going to modify them with the key assumption in multiple product assessment, which is constant sales mix. When you don't read, when we give you materials and you don't read, the way you are responding to the questions, the basic questions I was asking. For example, I could be wrong, but the impression I got from Joseph's response was that he was just reading some text from the internet. To me, I mean, you can just take your phone and Google something on that. That's why I didn't understand what you were reading. If you had read the material I gave you, you would have understood it better than the thing that you just read from the internet. So let's go through the whole exercise of multiple product assessment using this question. I gave you a set of tutorial questions. They were in two parts. The first part is on CVP, and then the second part is on budgeting. So we are going to use the first question to deal with CVP. And then I'll start the lecture on budgeting and maybe take one question from the second set, which is on budgeting, to deal with budgeting. The rest is up to you to read. And you are postgraduate students. So how I even teach you in class is not supposed to be the way I should teach you. I should just lecture, hit on the key points, and give you materials to go and read on your own. But I teach as if I'm teaching primary school students. So if with all those things, you don't still want to do any hard work, that's the best I can do for you. Okay, so let's take this question. And when we are reading the question, relate the fact you are picking from the question to the concepts. The concept of break-even quantity, break-even revenue, all the formulas that we learned with a single product. It is the same formulas, but this time the idea is that the products are sold as if we have put more than one product in a box. So we are selling the products in bags or boxes. That's the idea of sales mix. It's a mix. We sell, but it's in a mix, is in some composite. It is as if the product, 3 products or more, 2 or more products, they have been put in a box, and when you come, you buy the box. So relate everything we are going to read about a question to that underpinning assumption. And when we are going to go through the solution, you have to do that same kind of relationship. That will help you to understand. We are going to solve only question 1. And of course, if you understand the principles, all the principles that you need to understand about multiple product assessment is inside question 1. And we are learning principles. We are not learning different questions. We can't learn all the questions in the world. So get to understand the principles, and you can use the principles to solve almost any other question. Okay. Rain Gold Company produces, so this should be produces. It's kind of grammar error. Produces wireless phones. One model of the wireless phone is called mini phone. And that mini phone is a basic model that is very small and slim. The mini phone fits into a shirt pocket. It is kind of giving you more description about that phone. Another model is the iNet phone, and that one has a larger display and it is internet ready. For the coming year, Rain Gold expects to sell 200,000 mini phones and 600,000 iNet phones. A segmented income statement for the two products is as follows. So sales in Ghana cedis. This is sales revenue. Remember, there were sales here, but these were in physical phones, units. This is the Ghana cedi equivalent. As for this basic mathematical language, it is your job to get yourself acquainted with them. I'll do my best to highlight these things and explain them, but you have to read more to get these things. The more you read, all these things will be cleared for you. So for mini phone, we will sell 200 pieces, and that would generate 5,000. Just see we have 1,000 on top. So we have 5,000. In other words, 5 million. Sales revenue from iNet. From mini phone. iNet phone, which is also called a net phone. The sales revenue is 36 million, which gives us a total for the whole company to be 41. Variable costs, total variable cost of generating this 5 million revenue for mini phone is 2.4 million. In other words, 2,400,000 because we have 1,000 on top. That for iNet is 30,000, giving us a total of 32,400,000 or 32,400,000. When you subtract variable cost from your sales, you get contribution. So we have the contribution calculated, total contribution to be 2,600 or 2.6 million and then 6 million, respectively for mini phone and iNet phone, giving us a total of 8.6 million. Direct fixed costs. Direct fixed cost means the fixed costs that are attributable to the sale, the manufacture and sale of each of the phones. For mini phone is 1.2 million. iNet phone is 960,000. A total of 2.160 million. And then we have segment profit. So profit from mini phone alone, based on this statement, is 1.4 million. That for iNet is 5,040,000, giving us a total of 6.440 million. Then we have common fixed cost that is shared between the two segments. So this is a common fixed cost, general fixed cost. All of them in combination generate this, or they all benefit from whatever activity is generating this fixed cost. Then operating income for the whole of the organization gives us 5.16 thousand million. So this is a simple income statement, and you are accounting students, you understand this. Accounting students at the master's level. So we are required to simply calculate, do profit assessment for this company, which is into the manufacture of two products. How we do CVP multiple products is not like doing mini phone singularly, doing iNet phone singularly and adding them. No, we solve them jointly. And that is underpinned by the idea that even though we have this phone and this phone, it is as if when we are selling, we put some phone, mini phone, some iNet phone into a box. So you come and buy a package. Constant sales mix. So the question wants you to kind of, I've broken the question so that by the end of the question, you should be able to know all the key components that you should know about doing multiple product CVP assessment. So one, calculate the sales mix in units for the company. Sales mix. Calculate the sales mix. The sales mix is the proportion of sales, but that's why I stress it to be in units. The proportion of sales between the two products. So if you go through the question, what is the proportion of sales between the two products? Hello, class. There's a question to the class, please. What's the proportion of sales between
Yes.
the two products? Yes, go ahead.
0.25 for mini phones.
0.25. We
For
are
mini
calculating
phones.
the proportion or the ratio. So let me use ratio rather. The ratio of sales between the two.
2:6.
Okay, so let me write the first one, then I write the second one. The second one said is 2:6 between mini phone and iNet phone. The first one, what did you say? 0.25,
5
0.25 and
and
what?
0.75.
And 0.75.
0.75.
So this is the first one. How did you arrive with your computation? How did you arrive by your computation? Please, let's go ahead quickly.
So is it the second one or the first one?
The first one, 0.25 versus 0.75. How did you arrive at that computation?
The 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 sales quantity is 200,000 for
The mini phones.
for mini, and
And the
yes, and the
and the
iNet was
and
600,000.
600,000.
So the total will be 800,000.
Mm.
So 200,000 of from 8,000 is what I said. Is
Is
the
what?
0.25 and 0.25.
Okay.
So let me multiply by 100. So it's 25 is to 75 if that one to work.
Okay, so I now get
So
it.
it was 200 over 800.
Okay, so all of you are not wrong. So you can do it in two ways. You can do it in a percentage way, where, so let's say we have mini. We have mini. We have iNet. And let's say we have total. This is 200,000. This is 600,000, giving us a total of 800,000. So we can do, we are finding the ratio of sales between them. This is the total. So we can do it in percentage. That's the meaning of what he was trying to do, 0.25, but he should have left them in percentage. So we can have 200 over 800 times 100%.
Yes.
600 over 800 times 100%, so that we get a percentage or the ratio of sales between the two products in percentage. This one will give us what? Please, if you are not talking, put your microphone off. And let's join with a calculation. 200 over 800 times 100%. What's the percentage?
So
0.25.
0.25.
0.25 is not percentage.
That is 25%.
25%.
25%.
600 over 800 times 100%. That will be 75%.
Yes.
Yes.
So that the sum becomes 100%. And this 100% is equivalent to this 800,000. So if you want to compute it in percentage, this is how you have to do it. It's not 0.25. Otherwise, when we are using that figure, you get it wrong. It's 25. You put it 25% so that when you are converting to 0.25, it's okay. So we have 25% is to 75%. It could also be put in that same form, 0.25 is to 0.75. They are equally correct. Then the second one was just doing it in a raw form. Okay, we are not interested in the total in the meantime. This is 200 against 600, but these bigger figures can be reduced further. So we can have 1,000 canceling out so that we get 200 is to 600. We can get the 100 canceling out to get 2 is to 6. These two digits, we can't get any number that will go through them evenly. So we might leave them here. In this case, we'll get
1 is to 3.
good. 1 is to 3. That's very good. So 1 is to 3. These are equivalent ratios. They are the same. So this becomes the reduced form of the bigger figure, 200,000, 600,000, and a total of 800,000. In this case, our total will become 4. And they are equivalent. This one is equivalent to this one, and it's equivalent to this one. What we sought to do first is to cancel out, reduce the figures to the smallest numbers. 2 is to 6, 1 is to 3. 1 is to 3, the total ratio will give us 4, which is 1 plus 3, 4. And if you want to convert this into percentages, you come and get the same 25%, 75%. You get 1 over 4, which is 0.25, times 100%, 25%. 3 over 4, which is, it will give you the same as 75%. So we've done nothing. It's just that we have changed it from one form to another. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you get this sales mix, what it means is that it is as if we have a box where we put one mini phone and 3 iNet phones. That's why most of the time it's a good idea to use this form of the sales mix, even though the percentage is equally correct, because this gives you that common sense idea, because we're trying to see it from the idea of constant sales mix. So it's as if we have put the combination of the products in one box. So when you come, take the box and go. When you do it in this way, you get that idea clear. 1 is to 3, a total of 4. It means inside the whole box, we have a total of 4. That is 1 is to 3. So when you come, a box of product, 4 individual items, and it is made up of 1 mini phone and 3 iNet phones. That's what you pick and go. You buy for it and go. So if we modify all the known assumptions that we have learned through the single product with this key idea of constant sales mix, and now you understand it. It's like a box, and 1 mini phone, 3 iNet phones. We can now deduce formulas that will help us do multiple product assessment. When we're doing a single product, it is one product. So when we're calculating the break-even, let's say break-even quantity for the single product, we said it is total fixed cost divided by unit contribution. Now, it is not a single product, but you can think of it as a single box. When you use this formula, all right, for the single product environment, you will come and get the total quantities. This will yield total quantity of the product to sell to break even. Fine. This time, because we are selling the product in combination, and it's as if you have put them in a box, we can calculate the number of boxes to sell to break even. So this is the box. Inside the box, we have 1 mini, 3 iNets. We can calculate the number of boxes which contain this combination of products to break even. That forces us to do almost the same thing as single product, because the boxes will be single boxes. And then when we get a total number of boxes, then we can open the boxes and count the number of individual products and see the number of mini phones and the number of iNet phones. So when we want to go the boxes approach, or in a more formal term, the sales mix approach, what we will seek to do is to know, as for the total fixed cost, it will be there. But the contribution, if we were doing it for single product, we'll calculate contribution for that single product. Because we are going to calculate break-even boxes, we have to calculate contribution per box. This box is a word I'm using for you to understand it from a common sense perspective. In standard textbooks, you will see it to be mix. So the mix is the same as the box. So contribution per mix. If we divide total fixed cost by unit contribution and we get total units to break even, when we divide total fixed cost by box contribution, or contribution per box, or contribution per mix, we'll get the total number of boxes to sell and break even. That is boxes, please. Then you can open each box and separate the individual products. Any questions so far? Any question? Hello, I'm asking you a question. Any questions so far? Are you sure you are in class?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
you heard the question. Did you hear the question?
Yes. But as some of us, when we say no question,
Yes, sir.
they will beat us.
No
Okay.
question.
Okay, so I get it.
The question will
Because you
come
cannot
later.
know whether someone has a question, so you can't say no question. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say,
Yes.
I have been to no question.
That's it. Okay, so for this question, for this particular question, the constant sales mix is 1:3. And the contribution, so we have calculated the sales mix. The total fixed cost. Now see what is happening. We have segmented fixed costs. They are here. That is the direct fixed costs. So the one I've colored. A total of 2,160,000. In addition to that, there is a common fixed cost of 1,280,000. Which of the fixed costs do we use? The total fixed cost for the whole organization or the sum of the segmented fixed costs? Which makes sense for us to use and why? So you can speak your mind. I mean, this is based on how you see things. Please, it's a question only.
Sir,
Yes, please go
I want to
ahead.
try.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we are doing for the mix, and we have the common fixed cost. I know is like generated by the company or the entity, but
Okay.
the units all enjoy from it. And we
Yeah.
have the direct fixed cost, which is directly enjoyed by each unit. And since we
Yeah.
are doing for both, I think we should add the two fixed costs so that we get
Exactly. That is
the
it.
total fixed cost for the company.
100% correct. So this assessment is organization wide. We are not assessing each individual. If the question, I mean, for this same question, an examiner can tweak the question where he says, because the company is in two segments, the question can be asked for you to look at just only one segment, or look at the segments individually and then in combination for the whole of the organization. So if you're looking at the segments, each individual segment, in which case it will be like we are doing a single product assessment, then the relevant fixed cost becomes the segment's own fixed cost, because you want to know the segment's performance. So it will not be a fair assessment to bring in things that are really outside the control of the segment. But this one is the whole of the organization, multiple products. We assess them jointly to know the performance of the organization in terms of the sales and profit from all the product it sells. So we have to use the total fixed cost, which is the direct fixed cost plus the common fixed cost. What will be the total? Two, we can ignore the thousands on top because we'll put the zeros on top. So 2160 plus 1280. What will total be?
3440.
3440.
3440.
Yeah.
Okay. So total fixed costs 34430. Is that what you said? Is this correct?
3440.
3440.
3440.
Okay, thank you.
You sure?
3440. 3440.
Mm.
And so we have three zeros on top, remember. And our sales mix is 1 mini phone is to 3 iNet phone. So in the box, we have 1 mini phone, 3 iNet phones. And we need to know, remember the formula for break-even. In this case, we are going to calculate break-even we are going to calculate break-even quantity in bags or boxes, but more officially, it is mix. So you still can use the idea of box. It makes you understand it better. Break-even boxes. So we need to know, and the formula is, we are borrowing the idea from the single product. The formula is total fixed cost divided by unit contribution. So in this case, it will be total fixed cost divided by contribution per mix, or mix contribution. The mix is the same as the box. So contribution per mix. The contribution per mix is the total contribution inside the box. That's the contribution for the box. So we need to know contribution that mini-phone is bringing into the box, and know the contribution that iNet is bringing into the box, and add the two. That becomes the contribution of the box. Let's go back to the question. Contribution. See, in the box, we have one iNet. So we need to know contribution from one iNet. See, you have been given contribution 2.6 million or 2,600.
600.
Yes. This contribution is for the whole of this 200,000.
Yes.
So contribution per one is this 2,600 divided by 200. Do you get that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So contribution per unit, mini iNet. Total contribution, 3 zeros on top.
200.
Total contribution, this is 2.6, 2,600. That of iNet is 6,000. 6,000. Total units, this is 200. iNet is 600. I hope you are following what I'm doing.
Yes, sir.
So contribution per unit is the total contribution divided by the total units. 2,600 divided by 200. What is the
13,
figure?
13.
and 10.
So contribution per unit for mini phone is 13 cedis.
And 10.
6,000 divided by 600.
10.
Is it 10?
Yes.
Good. So contribution per unit. Contribution for one iNet phone is 10. Now let's come back. So you see that in the box, there's only one mini, and contribution from one mini is 13. In the box, there are 3 iNets. Contribution from one iNet is 10, and we will have 3 of such 10s. So it will be 30. Are you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
So total contribution for the box is 13 plus 30. Are you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
So total contribution for the box is 43. So if we divide the fixed costs by the contribution for the mix, or the contribution for the box, we get a total boxes that we need to sell to break even. So if we open that page, break even quantity of boxes, of course you can use mix, is equal to total fixed cost divided by contribution per mix. And this is equal to 3. I think you calculated the figure for me. 3440. 440 divided by 43. So this will give us the number of boxes to sell to break even. What would this be? 3440 divided by 43. Oh, please.
80.
The fixed cost, is it
80.
do we have 3 zeros on top? Let's be careful. We are
Yes.
dealing with 3 zeros on top.
Yes,
Yes.
there's 3 zeros on top.
Okay, 3 zeros on top.
So it's 80.
Oh, okay. But when we're also calculating the contributions, there were 3 zeros on top. So we have kind of
Yes.
stripped the 3 zeros.
Exactly.
Okay, so everything is okay. You have to be very careful so that you don't leave some in 3 zeros and others without 3 zeros. Otherwise, they will be wrong. If you are calculating all the figures without the last 3 zeros, it should be the same for all calculations. I hope that is clear. Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so that will give us 80 boxes.
You have to consider as when that happens.
No, there's no consideration.
Hey,
And the reason why there's no consideration is that if you make that mistake as a business manager, that mistake will not consider you. Your business will fail. And we train ourselves not to entertain failure. So there will be no pardon. You will just get 0. So you have to be meticulous from the word go. And that's what business people should be trained to do. Okay, so 80 boxes. I just want to understand if you have understood it up to this point. You have understood, right? Okay, 80 boxes. So the company needs to sell 80 boxes, and each of these 80 boxes has a combination of mini and iNet. 1 mini phone, 3 iNet phones. So the question will ask you to calculate the number of units of mini and the number of units of iNet. So after knowing the boxes, you have to come and open the boxes. 80 boxes. Open them. Each box has 1 iNet phone and 3 mini phones. So you can easily calculate or compile the number of units of iNet from the 80 boxes, the number of units of mini from the 80 boxes. And that answers the question. Right, so 80 boxes. Each box has 1 mini phone. So what will be the total mini phones to sell to break even? Hello?
20 boxes.
What will be the total units of mini phones to sell to break even?
20 pieces.
20 pieces, not 20 boxes. So did you say 20?
Yes.
Why 20?
A quarter of 80.
Why a quarter?
There's only 1 in a box of 4 for me.
So, Master, are you really following? Is this 4?
80 boxes.
Yeah, so where is your 4 coming from? I'm taking my time to explain this in a simple way to you. If you complicate your thinking about it and you mess it up, I don't really, because I don't see where you even say 4. You have gotten 80 boxes. Each of these 80 boxes, you will have 1 mini phone. So how many total, the total of mini phones is 80. Boxes, 8. 8 boxes. Each of the 80 boxes, you have 1 mini phone. So how many mini phones when you say 20? And you are saying quarter.
So it's 80.
It's 80. You have 80 boxes. Each of the 80 boxes, there is 1 mini phone. You are just taking all the mini phones. 1 mini phone from 80 boxes. Wouldn't you get 80 units of mini phones? This is simple. This one
it's
doesn't even need
80.
a calculation.
It's
So
80.
you get 80
And
units
240.
of mini phone. And then we have, so each box has 3 iNet phones. So how many iNet phones will be gotten from the 80 boxes? 3 times
240.
80, 240,
240.
240 units of iNet phone. So this is one way you can calculate the break-even units of the individual products. You can first go by calculating the boxes. Tear the boxes or open the boxes, remove the individual products and count them. This is basic mathematics. This is not part of the management accounting you are learning. 80 boxes, each one has 1 mini phone. 80 mini phones, simple. 80 boxes, each one has 3 iNet phones. Simple as 3 times 3 iNet phones times 80 boxes, 280 units of iNet phones. So this is the break-even quantity of individual products to break even. Okay. You can also calculate the same thing by using another approach. The approach called weighted average contribution per mix or box. Officially, you find it in textbooks as weighted average contribution per mix. And the mix is the same as the box, so get the same idea for you to understand it well. The weighted average contribution per mix is simply the total contribution in the mix or box divided by number of individual units in the mix. Okay, so borrowing the figures from this example, we calculated our contribution per mix to be it was 43. If you go to the box, we had one mini and 3 iNets. Total individual units is equal to 4. So contribution per mix of this divided by total units in the mix, 4. That gives you the weighted average contribution per mix. So what will this be? 43/4. Hello? Hello?
10.75.
43/4 is 0.75. Is that correct? Confirmed?
No, 10,
10
10.75.
10.75.
5, yes.
Yes.
Good, 10.75. So this is the weighted average contribution per mix. when you use the weighted average contribution per mix, so that you do this formula, total fixed cost divided by weighted average contribution per mix, you will come to get. Now let's go back. Let's go back and do something before we get here. When we got the 80 boxes, we unpacked the boxes, and then we got 80 mini phones and 240 iNet phones. In total, what would they be? 80 plus 240 will give us what?
320.
320. Good. 320 total individual products. When we use the idea of the weighted average contribution per mix, we will come to get the 320 straight. And then we now have to pack them. 320 of mini and iNet mixed together. So we just group them. And we'll group and come and get the same 80 and 240. So you have to know where each of the windows will lead you to, where each of the approaches will lead you to. So when we do, it was a total fixed cost of 3440 divided by 10.75. What would you get?
$320.
Good. So this will give you the 320, which is both individual units of iNet and individual units of mini mixed up together. 320. So they are mixed up. So you now have to sort. It's just like me, I have had an experience of collecting susu before, because one of my uncles was doing that job. When, in fact, he had people to do the job for him. So when the people come, they have mix of different, denominations of the currency. 1 CD, 5 CD, 10 CD, 20 CD, all mixed up. So they pour all of them from the bag onto the floor. And then we sort them into the various denominations. This is what is happening. The 320 is mini and iNet all mixed up, and then it's like we have poured them on the ground. They are mixed up. So we are now coming to sort them into mini and iNet. And I think that was the idea that Ebenezer was using, where he was saying quarter, and then he said 20 along the line. So you have to be careful where the calculation is done that way. You follow the common sense logic as I'm explaining. You might not have to choose any hard formula. It just follows. Now, I have all the units mixed up. If it were in practice, you would have just picked them mini, put them one side, and pick them iNet, put them one side, and later count them. But we know the ratio between them. The ratio between them is 1:3. Sorry, 1:3. A total ratio of 4. Okay. So the proportion of this 320. So this 320 is equivalent to the total ratio of 4, or 100%. In case you want to use your percentages, 25%, 75%. This is 4 total ratio, or 100%. This total 320, which is equivalent to 100%, 25% of them is mini, and 75% is, let's go back to that if it is. Yes. 25% of them is mini, 75% of them is iNet. So you can use that percentages to strike out which quantities will be for mini and which quantities will be for. If you do 25% of 320, what would that be? 25% of 320.
80.
Good. And 75% of 320. 240.
Yeah.
Good. Or you can say this is 320. This is the total. You can use the ratios. The proportion of this 320 that is coming from mini is 1/4. 1/4 or a quarter of the 320. That is equal to the mini. And then 3/4 times the 320 is equal to the inet. 1/4 times 320 will give you 80, just like 25% of 320. 3/4 times 320 is the same as 75% of 320, and they give you 240. So have you understood how you can use two different approaches to get the same thing? Have you understood that? Hello? Have you understood it?
Yes, sir. Somehow.
Okay, so let's see. Let's go to the question. So from the question, this is what we have done. We have calculated the sales mix, calculated the contribution per mix. We have also calculated weighted average contribution per mix. All right. And we have calculated the number of mini phones and net phones that the company must sell to break even, 80 and 240. So we have done the physical quantities part. We are now going to go to the revenue side. You can put your microphone off. We are now going to go to the revenue side. But before we go there, if you have anything to say, either a comment or a question, please you can let us know. You can let me know before I move on.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
I'm listening, Senior.
Sir, the alternative that you use in calculating the weighted average contribution per unit, I think if you can probably elaborate it for the second time for us.
What specifically is your problem? And let me hit on that. I cannot repeat the whole thing again.
My problem is on the alternative where you are using you are using the total unit in the box over.
I have not used total unit in the box over anything.
Contribution per unit.
I have not done any of the things you are saying.
So you use the four. It's unfortunate that I did not write that one.
You say it. I use what?
So you did the one, the weighted average contribution per unit, whereby you use the 3,400 over the you use the 3,440, the total fixed cost over the weighted average per unit to get the 320. Then use the other alternative.
No, what you are saying, it is not clear. And that's not what I said. It from the way you are speaking, it means you have not understood all the things I've said so far. You
Because I was
have
following with the exception of the last alternative.
okay, so tell me about the first approach. What have we said so far?
You said the first approach, we have to use the total fixed cost over the weighted average contribution per mix, the box.
No, that's not what I said about the first approach. Who can help? What did I say about the first approach? I've talked about two main approaches. Who can tell us about the first approach, what I've said about it, or what we have done about it together? And I've been showing all the calculations on the board.
As I was following, you were saying that one, there should be a contribution per box over total unit in the box. And that
No,
one, we did it, then the.
yeah, that's the weighted average contribution per box. And that's the second approach. What did I say about the first approach?
The first approach is the total first cost over the contribution per mix.
Good. And what does that give you? What does that give you?
As in what? Is it the final answer or what?
No, it gives you break-even quantity, that one.
No, that's not the answer I
It
want.
gives you the individual products in the box.
It gives you, when you do total fixed cost divided by contribution per mix. Contribution per mix is the same as contribution per box. That one, there is no weighted average attached to it. So let's go back. The contribution inside the box was 13 contribution per unit of mini phone, added to 30 cedis contribution from 3 iNet phones. So total contribution in the box. This is not weighted average contribution. This is total contribution for the box, or contribution per mix. There's a difference between contribution per mix and weighted average contribution per mix. There's a difference between them, and they are used to get different things. There are two different windows that can take you to your destination. The first approach, I explained the contribution per mix, not the weighted average contribution per mix. Contribution per mix simply means contribution inside the box. So you have to know the proportion of the product in the box is in the proportion of 1 mini, 3 iNet. 1 mini has 13 series contribution. 1 iNet has 10 contribution, but they are 3, so they bring 30. It's contribution per box, per mix. When you divide total fixed cost by contribution per mix is the same as contribution per box. You get the number of boxes, or the number of constant mixes, sales mixes. The number of boxes to produce or to sell to break even. So the total fixed cost of 3340 divided by contribution for the box of 43 gives us 80 boxes. So 80 boxes, wouldn't say box be 1 mini and 3 iNets. So you can easily count the total number of mini and the total number of iNets, which is what the question is requesting. So, and this shouldn't be a problem for you to understand at all. Not at all. You are accounting students. So if I were teaching management students and they have challenges like this, that will be fine for me. You are accounting students. This is very basic calculation. The second one, so this one gives you boxes, which you will later unpack. And that's why we said that, okay, if you have 80 boxes and we know that each box has one mini phone, then total mini phones will be 80 because we'll pick one from each of the 80 boxes. We have 80 boxes, each box has 3 iNet phones. Total iNet phones will be 3 times 80, which is 240. Do you still have a problem with the first approach? I want a response.
No, sir.
Good. Then the second approach, you are not going to calculate boxes, which you will later unpack and count individual products. Second approach will make you get all the individual products together. And I was giving you an analogy from my uncle's job, Susu. They collect all the separate denominations, put them in the bag, they come and pour down and sort. That's what the second approach does to you. And that second approach uses the concept of weighted average contribution per mix. And the weighted average contribution per mix is simply calculated as the contribution per mix, which you have already calculated as 43, divided by the number of units in the mix. So 43 divided by 4. 43 divided by 4. And you have 10.75. This one will make you get all the products mixed together, 320. And now you have to sort this 320 of mixed mini and iNet into their separate components. And then we sort them by using the ratio between them. 1:3. So the total of the 320, 1/4 comes from iNet. 3/4 comes, sorry, 1/4 comes from mini. 3/4 comes from iNet. It's the same as saying 25% comes from mini and 75% comes from iNet. And we did those calculations. If you calculate 25% of 320, you will get 80. 75% of 320, you get 240, which is the same as if you had used the boxes approach. You just need to understand, it's very simple. Still a problem? I want to know, still a problem? Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Joseph, talk.
The one who said I should go over, is it okay for you?
Silence means consent.
So it's okay.
Let's continue.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
And you have to see these things as normal. If you don't do what we ask you to do, if you don't watch videos when we say you should watch them, if you don't read textbook when we say you should read them, you are definitely going to have these challenges. Your understanding is not going to be good. And that is no mistake from the lecturer or the teacher. It is from you. You have to learn, read before you come to class. That's why we've given you all the resources ahead of time. Okay, so
Amelia, try to put the videos on our platform so that we can download.
Who said the videos are not on your platforms? Who just spoke? Please come again. Let me hear your name.
So the one that spoke wasn't in session the last time we met.
What's the name? Obed.
Dennis
Ando.
Joseph, be careful. Joseph, okay, be careful.
Oh, there's nothing to be careful about. He's just speaking the truth. Dennis.
Sir.
You were not in class the other time, but that's not a big problem. In the class, I gave all the resources to you ahead of time. We created a Google Classroom platform. And I asked the course rep to make all of you aware, not just aware, join. We have a dedicated YouTube channel where we have videos, even for this lecture, recorded and posted there. I send the link onto the platform So all of them are there. So find the information. When you didn't come, did you find the information from your course rep? Did you ask the course rep, please, what went on in class? What are we supposed to do?
So I was not feeling fine. I just came from the hospital, so I'll get it
Not
done.
feeling fine to the extent that you didn't call anybody.
No, my phone was off. I didn't want to disturb nobody. I didn't want anybody to
So
disturb.
the whole of last week up till today, you have never conversed with anybody.
No, sir, not at all.
Hey, Brabin.
Sample, menya fine. Won't you be? Say menya COVID. Say they on more isolation.
Okay, Mr. When we are done today, see
Okay,
Emilia and get to the platform. Emilia has the code.
Okay, sir.
She can guide you to install that sample app. It's Google Classroom.
All right, sir.
On the Google Classroom, I have posted the YouTube channel link, which gives you all the videos. This lecture, the tutorial we are doing, the lectures, 3 files: CVP single product, CVP multiple products, and there was a combined class which takes care of both single and multiple products. All of those videos are there. The lecture is beautifully done and the information is already there. And in fact, I gave the whole class an assignment to watch those videos from beginning to end, and I posted some sample questions, one of which we are doing as a tutorial now, to use them as practice, so that they can consolidate the knowledge.
All right, sir.
Everything has been given to you.
Yeah, Samati.
Yeah. Do you have a WhatsApp common platform?
Yes, sir.
Emilia, you have one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you don't care, you can put me on that group.
Okay, sir. Okay. You create
No, but
another
if you
one.
care. If you don't want me to be on that platform, fine.
Oh, so we want to be on that?
No, so we'll create another one. Don't worry.
We won't create another one. We use the old ones.
No, we'll create
Why?
another one.
What do you discuss there that you don't want me to be part of?
So boyfriend, girlfriend.
You want to kill me or what?
No, we will create another one for you.
No problem.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, and the Papa new team. It was a lecture and class hospital. Say you do back on or pompo, you do back on.
So that when I post any link to the Google Classroom platform, I'll drop the same link also into the group chat. Just for those who are not used to visiting other platforms except their WhatsApp.
Okay, sir. You create another one and add you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So Dennis, are you okay?
So I'm very okay.
Yeah.
I'm the deputy course rep too.
And you didn't come.
So
In fact,
seriously, I was not feeling fine at all. You
I
can
did
even hear from my
Dennis, it's okay. Let me ask my question.
Yeah, Ben, Ebenezer, ask you a question.
Yeah, please, the videos, can we
Yes,
download it? Because streaming is more expensive than download. So I just wanted to know if you can download
Are you sure, Mr. Yali?
Yes. If you stream, it takes more. It's buffer, so it takes more data than when you download it once.
Master,
when you watch.
a master student. 2 series, 3 series,
No, but when you are streaming, okay, that's my experience anyway. It takes small, sometimes few megabytes to stream. But when you download, let's say for example, the whole video file is like 500 megabytes. When you download 500 megabytes at a go, maybe the only advantage you have is that anytime you watch, but let's say you will watch this video 5 times. Streaming it 5 times will never get to 500 megabytes. It will not even get to half of it. Streaming is less expensive. The only disadvantage with streaming is if the network is poor and you don't get that flow, it breaks.
And,
otherwise,
and you try to go back and watch something you missed or you have to preview so that you can get the full understanding. If you miss a step, you have to go back.
You have a choice. You can download it, you can stream it. That one is there. It's just like any video you can find on the internet. You can download or you can stream.
Okay. Thank you.
And then we go for the download. Download is cheaper.
No problem. Okay, any other question?
I don't mind them. Let's go. Let's continue.
Any other question?
Lisa.
Okay, no other question. So we are done with, you see, I want you to see this thing we are doing through the same framework that we use for the single product. Break even in quantities, physical quantities. And then break even in revenue. Cast your mind back to the single product assessment. When we're doing the break even in revenue, we said that we can calculate the break-even revenue as break-even quantity times selling price per unit. That is very basic. But we said there's another formula that can make us get break-even revenue straight away. And I emphasize that it's very important for us to understand and keep that formula, because when we are doing multiple product assessment, we will definitely need it. Who remembers that formula?
So that is it the total revenue, the total fixed cost over the contribution paid?
Amelia, your statement is not complete.
Hey,
Amelia, what you said is break even quantity. Oh.
break even quantity.
Yes.
No, it's the revenue. Oh.
Break-even revenue. What formula did we learn in addition to break-even quantity times selling price per unit?
It's not you.
No.
Oh, you kind of cry. You not time. Oh, you can see you. You won't go through.
And there's a one you answer a home better.
And yes, I'm not. And easy. Say,
That is total. The total fixed cost of see.
Dominic.
Sir,
Mr. Okran.
sir, the last time you said break-even revenue is total fixed cost over cost per sales ratio.
Manka cost per sales ratio. Contribution to sales ratio.
Contribution per sales ratio.
CS
Yes, it's the only
C over X.
Samina mini wa mwanga we me born papa.
I said contribution per sales ratio. Sorry.
Manka contribution per sales ratio.
Contribution to
So that's what
sales
you said.
ratios.
One will say was idea attraction. I said contribution to sales ratio. Manka per sales ratio. Anyway, obi jina chen obi say na say na chere mi.
Okay. But I've tried. Upon all of them, they are not even coming up.
No, you are even a lawyer. All the accountants are keeping quiet.
Oh, said that you.
Oh, David.
Say, I then you're working for now.
Not at all.
+1 +2, yeah.
No, but we cannot always do +1 +2. When you learn these things and you learn them with interest, you can always find a way to implement some of the things and make your organization better than those not doing it. But if you are learning without that mindset, you will not even be able to connect what we are doing to what is done at the workplace, which will be very bad. Otherwise, there will be no relevance for the education you are receiving for society. You just need a paper to get pay increment, to buy fufu and chop.
And this is very necessary. Very, very necessary.
That's all you are learning for.
Na nipa so beje dey.
What Ghana ka? Okay, so we said that break-even revenue for the single product, we learned of this formula. Break-even revenue is equal to total fixed cost divided by contribution to sales ratio. Senior, I didn't say cost too. This one can be written in short as CS ratio, because maybe you didn't pay attention well. When you see the CS, you think this C is cost. So you say cost per sales ratio. This is what it is: contribution to sales ratio, CS ratio. That's the meaning. The Americans prefer to call this contribution margin ratio. And I said all of those things last week. If you had even read, you would have kind of heard, I mean, if you had watched the video, you would have heard me repeatedly say it in different ways, explaining. But you didn't watch the video, you didn't read the textbook. Anyway, I need my money for the textbooks. So after class, everybody pay your money to Emilia for Emilia to send to me.
Hey, say how much?
Emilia should have told you. It's a peanut, just 50 Ghana.
And say that is a peanut.
Oh, but if that is not a peanut, what again can be a peanut?
And then say if it's a peanut, fate.
Now then, obi di bibi ba chewa a peanut in dino de chew.
That's a peanut there, at least peanut there.
A peanut ba no kan chew.
Say betu ya wa nya what betu ya.
Yabe,
So to and for say so to na form of you pay.
ozo wo hombo di nsu to me ha nsu no kura jai to.
And a pena papa.
So break-even revenue. You remember the single product environment? This was the formula. Please go back and understand all the formulas. I took my time for all of us to derive the formulas, so there will be no need to chew them. If you chew, you will easily forget. But if you derive, I don't see how you will forget. Total fixed cost divided by contribution to sales ratio.
Okay.
Contribution to sales ratio is also called contribution margin ratio. So in case you get a question from anywhere and they are saying contribution margin ratio, don't say, hey, they said they didn't mention this one. I've mentioned it. It's the same as CS ratio. CMR is the same as this one. Now, this is the formula for the single product. We are going to massage this formula. Please, if you have your microphone on, let it go, Fabi. We are going to massage this formula to give us a formula that we can use to calculate break-even revenue for multiple products. And if you see the top will stay the same. It is only the down. This down is based on single product. So it's only the down that we need to modify to suit multiple products. Contribution to sales ratio. It was based on only one product contribution. So now we have to calculate for multiple product what is called weighted average contribution to sales ratio. And that's all we have to do. Weighted average contribution to sales ratio. You have already calculated some weighted average. So you can think around that same logic and you can calculate weighted average contribution to sales ratio. Who wants to? Okay, everybody try. Everybody try. Weighted average contribution to sales ratio. We first calculated weighted average contribution per mix. The approach is very similar. Now we want to calculate weighted average contribution to sales ratio, also known as weighted average contribution margin ratio. That's how the Americans will say it. And I don't know how the Ghanaians will say it. Who knows? Are you sleeping?
No, sir.
Hello?
No, sir, we are not sleeping.
So try your hands on how you will calculate weighted average contribution to sales ratio. Weighted average contribution to sales ratio. This one. This one. Weighted average contribution to sales ratio. Try to calculate it. I'm giving you just a maximum of 5 minutes. I'll come back and pick the answers. Everybody should try. You should have the question on your mobile phone. The question is on the platform, so you can download and view it from there. An attempt to compute the weighted average contribution. We have already done weighted average contribution per mix. We are just going to modify slightly to do weighted average contribution to sales ratio per mix. 5 minutes. And please, you should discuss. You can do some forum. You can discuss among yourselves how the calculation should be like. It's not an individual work. Both of you should discuss to see how it will be solved.
Okay.
Okay, AB, be the group leader.
Maybe we are waiting for you. AB.
Wanda.
Wanda. AB can why sorry.
Wanda.
And Lizzie take over.
Dennis, me chamo.
Okay.
We must see I see maybe I'm in a mumpo.
Yay. Joseph, take over. Group leader, Priscilla.
Oh, Priscilla, don't sleep.
Oh,
Priscilla.
man, please. Let's try.
Mr. Okran.
Wait, Dennis.
Yeah, AB.
When I do weighted average contribution to sales ratio per mix.
Okay, you have to get contribution per bag.
Contribution to sales ratio. No? Amazing. A contribution over sales. Nah.
Yeah, contribution. Contribution in the cargo.
And your
Contribution over sales times 100.
by your
Over
contribution
sales.
over sales times 100.
Yeah.
The contribution for the group we know is 43, right?
43,
Exactly.
yeah.
And the total
Over
sales.
sales.
Ebenezer, share your screen. Abby, share your screen.
And the total, I don't have a screen. And the total sales is
Onye Dino
total sales is 41,000. Say 41,000. And
yeah.
Now my question is for me, Nibi. Name who baby.
And I was on share screen so.
I was screen is on.
Present.
And the
No,
sales near
presenting.
41,000.
Sales near 41,000 for the whole group. So if you divide, you be
43 over.
43 over 41.
No, if this is 43, no, I don't see this form. Or they didn't see this form. I see it to me divide by the sales.
So I see. Okay. So when you say sales per unit. Okay, maybe I'm sure the 41,000 divided by 800.
Maybe 800.
Can we divide it by total sales unit? 200 and 600. The sales too has to be in units.
It's unit,
like
okay.
Sales per unit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because we all use it for one.
Yeah.
In value. I know in value.
Yes. But it we see when a unit rather.
There be any value.
Value no. But it's just that
because of sales
per unit. Sales per unit, not total sales. Sales per unit instead of total sales.
Sales
Maybe when share. A calculation of unit.
It's unit. And your value.
If you have a contribution per unit in the mix, which is 43, then the sales should not be 41,000. It should be sales divided by total number of units.
Units sold, yes.
And
maybe
we are just looking for the selling price, the resale selling price. It is 51.25.
First line and then the submission about.
Any final and enjoy.
Oh, they be said in the account.
No, Priscilla gave a submission. I don't know.
Okay.
Multiple the contribution per unit.
Priscilla can send in here. Say your good point.
Add the totals.
Add the unit of.
Divide the total of individual contribution numbers and different emotions. You been checking here?
One try an installation.
The same thing.
See, I'm getting 0.839 divided by the weighted average. Yeah, sure. I'm not certain. Yeah, sure.
Also, there you add the unit sales for each product. Product line into one large total.
Unit
Maybe I
sales
multiply the contribution per unit.
The unit sales one major, middle major. Many decimals will be into my point. Baby. As it oh. And so they will multiply the contribution per unit for each product by the number of sales, and then add the total. Which need mental. That is.
Sorry, my baby. I'm now going through.
Okay.
Yeah, simple, sure. If you don't confused. What's the sales? Listen, Feduni be. No, Feduni be. What is happening? Mr. Okran, Ebenezer.
Emilia, we are trying to solve it. Keep quiet and try and solve it.
We are all trying, but nobody is talking. You should not talk now.
Emilia, my network now very bad. You see, I miss out on a lot.
Manara.
Yeah.
Yes,
that be.
Oh. Miss my but still I'm sure there. What to my carbon? I do. No, I find simple. Oh, rough and already. I mean, what's on my no spotting. Addition, I'm the co internet baby. See, I do. On spotting or off. Oh, okay. See,
Yes, mommy. Emilia. Emilia.
Remember?
Weighted average contribution per mix in Wanyahin. Oh, no, Nina, one minute.
Calculate, yeah, but my said I'm sure. Just I wanna watch your room. Someone I want to show you.
Okay.
I may make clear calculations now, but
Welcome back, please. Sorry for spending more time. Hello? 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 Can you hear me?
yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
Have you been
yeah.
able to do something? We were talking of weighted average contribution to sales ratio, aka weighted average contribution margin ratio. And I said we can borrow the idea from how we calculated weighted average contribution per mix. I mean, it's just a small alteration you will do. So let me know what you have done so far. Weighted average contribution to sales ratio. What do you think it will be? What did you find? Hello?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Hello?
I was thinking it's contribution to sales, right? Which means contribution over sales.
I can't get you. Please come again.
Like the contribution to sales ratio
Okay.
is contribution
Okay.
all over sales per
All of
mix.
us.
Yes, that's all.
Okay.
They all mix, yes. So
Okay.
since we had a contribution for the mix to be 43,
Good.
the sales per mix also was 41,000. 41,000 from according to the question, it's 41,000, but I was thinking maybe we divide by the total number of sales units so that we get the selling price or selling.
Okay, so do it this way. Think of it this way. So everything is like a box, and the mix you are saying is a box. All right. So the contribution per mix is a contribution that is in the box, and you know in the box we have 1:3. Don't always forget. Don't do the analysis outside of this thing.
Okay.
3.
So should I say mine?
Okay, say yours, please.
The same contribution contribution of the bag. That
40,
one will be
43.
for the first one. You have 1/4 by their percentage, which is the 25%. plus the second one, which is 3/4 by 75%.
Okay.
Then we add them.
So what are you calculating? You
I'm
see the formula
calculating the
that
contribution per
Mr.
unit.
Yale said, contribution per mix
Yeah.
divided by sales mix in the
Sales revenue on the
box. Yes, sales revenue in the box. This formula is not wrong, it's correct.
Okay.
So what is the top? See the top first. What is the down? That's simple.
Okay.
So what are you calculating now? You see, I always want you to understand it from natural way.
Okay.
Contribution inside the box. We were products 3. Products mini 1, inet 3, and our boxing. What is the contribution per mini? Because mini is 1, that will be the contribution from mini. It was 13. And then contribution for 1 inet was 10. But we have 3 inets in the box, so it will be 30. And then we got this 43. So this is the same as this top part. It's the same as what we calculated earlier. Now, sales revenue in the mix. Remember when we're doing weighted average contribution per mix without the ratio, all right? The denominator was calculated as the total number of units. This time around is the total revenue in the mix. That's the only difference.
Okay.
That's the only difference. So the total unit was 1 plus 3, which was 4. So when we divide 43 by 4, that's what we came to get 10.75. Now it is not the units, but the sales revenue inside the box. So what sales is coming from? What sales revenue is coming from mini? And what sales revenue is coming from inet?
It is the sales revenue for
if you go to the question, you will see that you can get selling price per unit. Okay, so you were even speaking around that. Selling price per unit, sales revenue, selling price per unit for mini. Sales revenue of 5,000 divided by the units of 200,000 will give you the selling price per unit, isn't it? We'll give you the selling price per unit.
25.
We have sold a total of 5,000. I mean, let me forget about 3 zeros on top. 5,000. This 5,000 that we have generated, we sold 200 pieces. So what is the sales revenue per one? Sales revenue per one is the same as the selling price per unit. So that will be 5,000 divided by 200. So let's go to our drawing board. So sales revenue per mix, that's the one we are looking for. Per mix. In the mix, we have 1 mini. So if you get to know the sales revenue, sorry, let me write it here. You get to know revenue per unit of mini. And then we have 3 inets. So we still need to know revenue per unit of inet times 3. And the question has all it takes for you to get the revenue per unit for each of the products. This is total revenue, 5,000. And remember, if you do 5,000 without the 3 zeros, when you are picking this 200, you have to pick it without the 3 zeros, or pick the total, 5 million divided by 200,000. Don't make the mistake to do mismatch. Okay, so revenue per unit of mini is equal to 5,000 divided by 200. What would that be?
25.
So 1 mini was sold for 25 cedis. Revenue per unit of iNet is 36,000 divided by 600. 36,000 divided by 600. What would that be?
180.
180 cedis per unit. So now we can go back to the box again. And we are looking for the revenue in the box. And we have 1 mini. This 1 mini comes with revenue of 25 cedis. We have 3 iNet, and they come with revenue of 3 times 180. 3 times 180 will give us what?
540.
So is it 36,000 over 600?
Let's go back. They gave me that figure.
It's 60.
36,000 over
It's
600.
60.
It's 60.
That's what I
That one
was
is
telling
60.
you. That one is 60, and someone gave me
Yes.
180. I don't know where they got the figures from. So this is 60.
60 by 3. That is the
Good.
180.
So this is 60. And 60 by 3 is 180.
Yes.
So this is the revenue coming from iNet. And this is the revenue coming from Mini. And therefore, the total revenue that will be in the box will be 180 plus 25. What would that be?
205.
205. Like this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we have the 2 parts of the formula. We have the top part, which was contribution per mix, and the down part, which is weighted average contribution margin ratio. This time around, I'm using the American term. Weighted average contribution margin ratio. And it is 43. That was a contribution per mix, per box. Divided by revenue, weighted average revenue in the box. 205. Okay. Okay, so 43 divided by 205, what would that give us? What would that give us? 43 divided by 205.
0.209.
2097
56.
56. Is that all?
0976.
Okay, so on and on and on and on. Okay. So at this point, for example purposes, you can round. But I will wish us to use the full figures because I want us to do some confirmation. If this one will give you the revenue straight away, revenue for all the units of the 2 products combined, which we later will split them into the various components. Okay, so 0.209 blah 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 blah. If you, try to use all the digits in the further calculation. So we have our weighted average contribution margin ratio to be this. So break-even revenue for the multiple products is equal to total fixed cost divided by the weighted average contribution margin ratio, which is the same as weighted average contribution to sales ratio. This will give us all the sales revenue from all the two products. And then we will later divide it into mini and inet. This cost was 3440 divided by 0.209 blah 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 blah. So let's even do it this way so that we can have the opportunity of using the full figures. But in exam, if you had rounded the weighted average contribution to sales ratio to, let's say, 0.209, that will be okay. But because I want us to confirm something, that's why I want us to do it this way. So total fixed cost divided by, in this case, it will be 43 over 205. Okay, so do it this way. What you have to do on your calculator is that do 3440 divided by into brackets. So bring this bracket. 43 divided by 205. So this fraction needs to be put in brackets for it to be seen as 1 unit, so that you will have the full fraction to be applied on the total cost, total fixed cost. So do it like this, key it like this on your calculator. What would we get for this?
16,400.
16,400. Okay. And remember, we have 3 zeros on top. So when you are doing your final answer, which sometimes you write, therefore, break-even revenue is equal to, then you bring the 3 zeros, 16,400,000. That is very important because it's about decision making. So if you generate this figure where it is in millions, but you left them in thousands, just imagine how every decision that will be made on this report will be wrong. It's very, very important. And in exam, when you don't do it like that, you lose marks because 16,400,000 is not the same as 16,400. If you forget about the 3 zeros totally, everything becomes wrong. 1,000 is not the same as million. Okay, so this is the sales revenue for all the units, the break-even sales revenue for all the units sold of mini and inet. And we can confirm this. The break-even unit of mini was 80, and that of inet was 240. That's what you told me, giving us a total of 320. One mini is sold for 25 cedis. One inet is sold for 60 cedis. So do it. 80 times 25 will give us what?
2,000. 2,000.
2,000. Good. 240 times 60 will give us what?
14400.
14400. Add the 2.
16,400.
16,400. And I don't need to say anything again. You should understand what I'm trying to tell you. This formula, the weighted average contribution margin ratio, will give you the total revenue for all the product combined. That's one way to get a total revenue, even though you could have done the total revenue as break-even quantity for mini times selling price per unit of mini, break-even quantity for inet times selling price per unit of inet. You could have gotten it through this way. And where the question is silent about which approach to use, you can use any of them. But this is how you get it using the weighted average contribution margin ratio. And please, you get the total for all the products. So now we can now split. When you are splitting, this is revenue. So you use the ratio of revenue between the two products to split. You do not go and use the ratio of the physical quantities. The first ratio that we calculated, which was 1:3, was the ratio of physical units of sales. If you use this to share this revenue among them, it will be wrong. It's just like you are doing apple and banana. So you use the ratio of sales revenue between them. If you go to the question, you will see that 500, 5,000, 36,000, total of 41. That's the ratio of sales between them. And that's why when I was setting the question, because I wanted you to get all the components, I added the sales mix in revenue. It's the same thing. The ratio of revenue between them is the sales mix in terms of revenue between them, which in the basic form will be 5:36, giving you a total of 41. I don't think we can have any number that will reduce it to a further low level. You could have also used the percentages, but the reason why I normally don't like the percentages is sometimes when you get fractions, and you have to round. Let's say you get 25.36%, 25.36. So are you going to use it whole percentage, whole number percentage, 25.36? So that would be 25. What happens to the 0.36 you have dropped? So you shift revenue from here to another place. It's not too good. So I normally prefer that you do it this way. 5:36. So everything remains where it's supposed to be. So that's the ratio between them, 5:36, a total of 41. So this 16,400 should be split on the basis of 5:36. 5:36, giving us a total of 41. So 5/41, I don't even know how to say it. 5/41 portion of 16,400 comes from mini, and 36/41 portion comes from INET. And when we do that split, and it should conform to the 2001-4400 as he calculated. So let's do it. 5/41 times 16,400. What would that give us? So do this one in brackets on your calculator before you multiply it by this. Because the calculator is programmed to follow what is called precedence rule.
2,000.
So bracket open, 5 divided by 4, bracket closed. Then you do times 16,400. What would you get?
2,000.
What did you get?
2,000. 5/41 times 16,400.
Yes, please. That's what I'm saying. You get what?
2,000.
2,000. And this confirms this 2,000 here, which is 80 break-even physical quantities times selling price per unit. Now do 36 divided by 41 times 16,400. What do you get?
14,400.
14,400.
Yes.
14,400. That also confirms this figure. So this is the combined revenue, and this is how you split them. You split them on the basis of the ratio of revenue between the two. So you can for that reason you can calculate the sales mix in terms of revenue, just like we also calculate sales mix in terms of physical quantities. Are you okay?
Yes, sir.
But there's not only one person in class. Are you all okay?
I am okay.
Good. Obed Mensah, are you okay? Obed, you have a problem with your microphone. Dennis Ando, are you okay? Dennis
Yes,
is sleep.
sir.
Okay.
No,
Priscilla,
no,
are
no.
you okay? Priscilla.
I have a little cold, so I'm finding it difficult to speak.
No problem. Obed, are you okay?
Yes.
Priscilla, are you okay? Priscilla is sleeping. Peter Dominic, are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Joseph Okran, are you okay?
So I'm okay.
Joseph Okran, are you okay?
Please, I'm okay.
Amelia.
Yes, sir.
Lizzie. Well, Lizzie is gone. Okay, so now that everybody is okay, in fact, this is what it is, and this is how the calculation is done. If, for example, let's see the other part of the question. So we have looked at the basic analysis, and every other thing can be done. Now, if you look at VII, revenue that must be generated each by the two brands of phones to break even. That's just what we did. 2,01440. Number of mini phones and number of net phones that the company must sell to earn a before tax profit of 20,000. So I'm going to give this part to you as an assignment. From VIII, from here, all the portions I've selected. From VIII to XI, you have to solve them and submit them as an assignment. And okay, this is what I'm going to do. Let's do it this way. The whole question, I'm going to set it up as an assignment on your Google Classroom platform. And once I set it as an assignment, it will come with a deadline for submission. Before the submission date, in fact, I will even add it to the assignment. I'll send you 2 short videos on how to turn in your assignment on the Google Classroom platform. I'll post these videos on the Google Classroom platform. That's why it's important for every person to be on that platform. That's the official way I communicate to you. So I'll put those short videos on how to send assignment through the platform. And I'm going to designate this question as an assignment. And in fact, the assignment is only from the VII because we have done the rest. We have done the rest. So you will have to do question 1. The full of question 1. It has A and B. The B part says discuss the assumption of constant sales mix and how it impacts on the results obtained in A. Go and read. You can consult the internet. You can read from textbooks. You can do so many things. So you will solve question 1 as an assignment. So this is where we end the tutorial. Any question? Tutorial on CVP. Any question? And precisely CVP multiple product. Okay, no question. So we have to break for, normally, how many minutes do we break for before we resume the second session?
Say 30 minutes.
Okay, so we break for 30 minutes. People may be hungry. Others may want to stretch. So in 30 minutes time, according to my time, it is 11:06. So we are coming to around 11:36. All right. When we come, we are going to start budgeting. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you very much for
Thank you too.
your participation.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
So,
Joe.
we all thank you, but sometimes some of the earlier pronouncement made us scared.
Oh, don't get scared. It should rather make you sit up. It shouldn't scare you.
Yeah, I was scared.
We
You
are already
have to sit
scared.
up. That's what I was
Because
trying
when
to say.
something comes as a failure, thing, no, you're giving
Don't worry,
advice,
you treat
but
us good. You treat us good. Don't worry.
I am already treating you good by teaching you good.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's the good. That's the most good. And that's
And
where
the
we need
last
to
good is
all benefit
and the
from.
last good is when you are marking.
I'm recording the lecture, and you don't need to speak distance,
Okay.
Okay, so that's it. Go and watch a video on the topic. Dennis, I've told you that there's a dedicated YouTube channel you can download. But before you download, you just subscribe to the channel so that anything we put there, you will get instant alert.
Yes, I'll watch everything. Don't worry, sir.
Yes.
I'll watch
And
everything.
please watch it. And then we have gotten the opportunity to understand most of the things through the tutorial. Go through them again. There are other questions to the whole set I gave you. Apart from doing the assignment I'm going to assign you right now, you can also practice with the other questions, all with a mind of understanding, owning that topic, owning the knowledge in that topic, so that when the exam comes, you will feel very confident in yourself. That's very important. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you once again.